Welcome back to Let Glory Shine. I'm your host, Martha Glory Kartaoui, and I'm so excited to be here for another episode. I have a phenomenal guest, and I know, guys, I say this every week, but I do. I get to talk to the most interesting, amazing, cool people, and my path just keeps like intertwining with these cool people. So I have to bring them to you, and I'm just excited that I get the opportunity every single week. So I want to introduce to you today Sierra Grana. And y'all, when I first met her, I was like, okay, kinship, like soul connection, divine understanding, like without words. She hugged me and I was like, oh, I feel all of that yummy goodness. So I can't wait for her to actually tell you about all of her accolades and amazingness and all the things that she's doing because she's going about as fast as I am these days. So I can't wait for her to tell you a little bit about herself. So welcome, Sierra.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's okay. You can tell everybody that I'm your favorite. It's fine.
You know
I'll
what?
allow
I
it.
get in trouble with a lot of people, but you know what? You're up there.
I could take them. I'm good. I'm good.
You probably could, straight up. You probably could. I had the honor of having you join us 2 weeks ago at Unbound, which was absolutely phenomenal. And I got to know you on a little deeper level through that. I've also experienced the things that you do. So I'm just excited to get into all of that. So tell my audience a little bit about Sierra Grana.
Oh boy, we'd need more than 27 minutes. But um, long story short, no, I'm kidding. Um, I started being doing mediumship when I was about 3 years old. I just knew I would just talk to people, and my mom thought I just had a great imagination, but she's also a medium, so she kind of knew that there was a little more to it. And as the years went on, I thought it was a normal thing. Everybody can do this, right? Um, and then they would start coming to me in my dreams the older I got, because the channel kind of changes as you age and you go through emotional intelligence and all that stuff. And then when I reached adulthood in about 2020, right? I think it was 2020, I decided to step into entrepreneurship with my mediumship gift. I was already an entrepreneur, but I wasn't like out of the closet, I guess we call it, the spiritual closet. And I started getting messages from people that I didn't know them. Like usually it was family and friends that would come with messages. And I had this little girl come to me, and I waited a whole year to share her message with her mother, because I was afraid of it and I was afraid of how she would respond. And I finally reached out to her, and she reached back to me. She's like, if I had that gift, I would never not pass along the message. She's like, you're doing a disservice to people. And that sat with me for 5 years now. So I've just kind of I do mediumship readings, which you've had one. But I like to focus more on business and bringing intuitiveness into business and allowing people to create businesses from their soul, and showing them that it doesn't have to be hard. We can do the things we're here to do. We can follow our passion and follow our purpose. So I do a lot of leadership strategy work with people and building communities. I'm really big on building communities. So my primary focus is to pull people together and create that unity. A roundabout. I'm trying to go, not, keep it a little short, because, I have a whole story. I did retreats. I've done all the things.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. So you said so many things that I want to like circle back on. They're so important, and I talk about them all the time as a trauma informed coach. Is when you get that understanding of who you are and who you were meant to be,
Mm,
everything opens, everything shifts. And it doesn't have to be hard because it's not work when you're standing in your gifts, right? When
right.
you just get to be who you are, you don't have to work for it. You don't have, like, yes, there's work in the things that we create from that space, right?
Yeah.
But it's not work to be in your purpose, in your mission, have that vision because your soul has already figured all of those things out. It's just waiting for you to catch up. And
Yeah.
so when you said that, duh, right? So what kind of things do you offer somebody that is not found that yet, has no idea who they are, who they're meant to be, what their purpose is, and they're just kind of gallivanting through life with no direction? Because I run into that all the time in coaching, and I have to take them back to the beginning, and I have to make them
Yep.
understand you can't get away and just dig back in if you don't get through the layer of trauma, don't get through the layer of yuck, don't get through the layer of experiences that are keeping you finding self, finding your soul mission, all those things, even though it's already there, but you have to dig back inside, you have to clean up the yuck, and you have to be able to stand firmly in it. So, what kind of things can you offer someone that's
Yeah,
just starting?
so I have two businesses. I have social agency, which is my primary, like that pays my bills. And then I have a business called A Bridge That Matters, where we're focused on mentorship and education and resources. The way we do it in A Bridge That Matters with our mentorship is we actually look at your human design and we say, hey, let's look at this chart, let's see what you're good at. And then we put you into experiential learning experiences because we want you to be in it, right? And really understand it. And while you're going through that process, we're doing a holistic coaching program because we're working on your mind, body, and soul. Because that's the thing. A lot of people are so disconnected to, and you know, you're a massage therapist, they're so disconnected to their bodies. So we incorporate ways where you're grounding in and embodying what it is you're here to do. And sometimes I think people just need to know, right? We have to, a lot of people tell you you have to search for the answers. And with A Bridge That Matters, our purpose is we can give you the answers through discovery, through, that experiential part, because I think we know who we are, but when we're actually doing the things, we realize we're not, that's not us, right?
Yeah.
And that was me in college. Like I thought I wanted to do sport management and work for the Red Sox and all these things. And by the time I got out, I was like, I don't want to do that, right? So I wasted 4 years of college and a lot of money. I almost swore, and look at that, I didn't swear. So, and when I got into it, I was like, wow, if someone was there to guide me and say, hey, you know what, you're really good at XYZ, why don't you go into like organizational leadership, entrepreneurship, and guided me in the right direction, I wouldn't have wasted all this time. So I do that in my coaching too. Like I might not be the typical coach where I'm going to ask you a million questions. I'm going to say, hey, why are you doing that? Hey, what's going on? Like I'll ask the hard hitting questions. Someone said to me today, they were like, you're unapologetically authentic. And I said, there's no other way to be. So
Yes.
I have to be that way in order to, show my clients how to do that and how to embody that. So I do a lot of somatic work, a lot of embodiment work, and a lot of energetic work as well. So we clear out old karma, old patternings, and then we look at like the storylines. I try to do a holistic approach again, like I said, because our minds are going to deceive us, but our hearts never will.
100%. 100%. I want to shift a little bit just because of the my show and is a faith-based show. We love God,
Mm,
you love God, and people come at me when I bring on guests like you and they say, but how does this fit into
mm,
your belief system? How does this align with your faith?
right.
And so I have my own answer, but we got to have this exact conversation when you were here in Raleigh. And it was so like amazing to hear just how you get to explain it from your side because your relationship with God, with Jesus Christ, with the universe is strong and vibrant and authentic, right? And so I want you to talk a little bit about that because I think it's important for people to understand.
Yeah, I grew up Catholic, and we went to church. My family is very Catholic, and even my family doesn't like what I do, but they all do it for the most part. So they just don't do it publicly. And for me to be, I don't know, the generational curse breaker of that, like it's just me being me. I can't shut this off. It's who I am. I have this connection, and when I really started to understand what I was doing and that it wasn't evil, I was actually sitting in church uh, getting the same message, hearing the same message that the priest was like speaking about. And I said, okay, so that voice is the same voice that he's hearing. Why am I hearing it? Right? Like, why am I hearing that? And he's saying, the same exact thing. So I had to really, look at my relationship with God in spiritual aspect versus the religion aspect. And I had to kind of go away from the church. And the further I went away from the church, the closer I drew to God. The more that I worked on that, every morning I wake up and I pray. Every morning I wake up and I have a conversation because that to me is God, right? I can go back to church if I want. We're going to a church tonight. So, what I mean? For me, I'm not against religion. And what I do helps people. I've never once hurt anybody with the work that I do, right? And that's what I keep in the back of my mind because I know there's other people like me. And if I can show them that it's okay and it's safe and that, you're not doing anything wrong, as long as you're following God and following what's in your heart, then why not do it?
And it comes from a place of love, right?
Yeah, a
So
hundred percent.
often we get misled by, well, you can't believe in God if you don't believe in religion. And that's actually like the biggest falsehood that is sold, right?
Mhm.
My relationship with God is personal. My relationship with God starts here. It has nothing to do with the religion that I practice, right? God is all encompassing. God doesn't only meet you in a church pew. God doesn't only meet you through of a pastor or a mister or minister or any of those things, right? God, like my relationship is personal and it's right. Like I know that there's one God. I know that my gifts came from God, right?
Yeah,
And that's the other thing that we talked about when you were here is how can we say that our gifts are evil if those gifts came from God?
yeah,
Because God doesn't do evil. God is
yeah,
only love. God is only mercy. God is only grace. So why would God give us something
mhm,
that is a gift if we
yeah,
weren't meant to use it? If we weren't meant to stretch ourselves to understand the divinity that is God through
yeah.
us?
And it's funny you say that because like for years I beat myself up, right? I was like I wanted to shut off my channel. I didn't want the mediumship aspect. Like it scared me for a while because I was like, oh, it's evil, evil this, evil that. And when I just continued to lean in, because anytime that I get a message, it requires my faith to elevate, right? Anytime I have this fear, I have to elevate my faith. I have to go one step higher, one step higher. And that's what I'm saying. Like I have drawn so close to God that I live in trust and surrender. Like I truly do. People are like, why'd you move to Texas? I'm like, God told me. I'm obedient, right? Like I move, I do the things that God asked me to do. And having that relationship where it's really a relationship with yourself and trusting yourself. And for me, like I know at my core, I am a great person, right? I care about people. I'm compassionate. I'm empathetic. I forgive people all the time. So what I'm doing, that's my gift. That's I am love, right? I just give love all the time. So isn't that God? Am I not in alignment to God there? That I just for me, I always think like I literally not what would Jesus do? What would God want me to do? Right? And I do work with Jesus. I work with Jesus energy. It's just compassion and unconditional love.
Exactly. That's what
Yeah.
it comes down to. And for me, if it fits in that box, then I have to be open to it because I'm not the judge, right? Like if it comes from love and it goes to, and then we're putting out love,
Yeah.
then who am I to judge if I don't understand it, right? Because there are things metaphysically that I
Mhm.
still can't quite wrap my head around, and I don't have not formed an opinion about them. But if it fits into those things, then who am I to judge? I just have to be able to be like, okay, well, we're different. I don't understand how that works, but I don't need to tell you that you shouldn't do it just because I don't understand it, right? And so I love that if it comes from God and it is God's gift, then it feels in alignment with where we are,
Yeah.
who we are, and who we want to be.
And that's the thing, like I sit here sometimes and I can't understand or I can't describe what I can do or how I can do it. I just say it's God. God did it. Like I'm just a vessel, right? God, I every time I go to do any energetic work or any of those things, I'm not me. It's not me facilitating it. I just
Yeah.
say, hey, Holy Spirit, God, work through me to, communicate to this person or get through to this person. Speak to me the words you want me to speak to them, right? Because a lot of times the people that I work with have walked away from God.
Yeah.
So like that's my big I'm like if people actually knew the work that I do, I bring so many people back to God, to some type of relationship with God, which to me is the most important. I don't care if you don't want to go to church. I'm not asking you to go to church. I'm not asking you to be religious, but you need to believe in something. You need to believe in a higher power. And if I can create that with you and show you, the magic that is God, and you can start to forgive yourself and to create love, self-love for yourself. That's all I want. That's all I want for people.
I love that you brought that up because you know my story, and I ran from God because I was hurt
Yeah.
in God's name, right? And that's so often what happens. Somebody had a bad experience at church. Somebody had a bad experience with somebody that proclaimed to love God or to preach or whatever, right? Somebody had a bad experience and now God's the bad guy. God's the bad guy for allowing somebody else to hurt us, right?
Mhm.
And so I have had to go through this very deep and dark healing journey back to God because when we what I realized is when I ran from God, I was actually running from me.
Yeah.
Because and that's a hard thing to conceptualize, but when
Mhm.
I ran from God, I'm running from me because God is in me. I
Yeah.
am that I say I am, right? And God is in me. So if I'm running from God, who is a creation of, right? I'm a creation of God, perfectly and wonderfully made. I'm running from myself. And I was, when I ran from God, ran from self, which means I didn't take care of my earthly body.
Yeah.
I didn't take care of my mind. I didn't take care of my spirit. I was basically a vacant shell running around making horrible decisions, horrible mistakes, but all in all, they were lessons, right? Because you have to be broken. You
Mm.
have to become absolutely broken and you hit your rock bottom in order to surrender, where then God can be like, are you done? Are you done running? Are you done creating that chaos that's not serving you, that's not helping you? Are you ready? Like,
Yeah.
I'm here, been here the whole time and watching you do this thing you've been doing, right? Like, are you done?
Yeah.
And so then God can meet you in that place. And I think that if you don't have that, like, how do you ever reconnect with self, Sierra?
Mm. Right. And I've been preparing a speech and I was talking about that in it. Like when I had my miscarriage 3 years ago, I literally was like, F God, I'm done. How can you how can you, my biggest fear was losing a child. And how can you put me through that, right? We want to have this external blame because our brains want to protect ourselves and, to have that existence on earth. If not, we're going to make a choice. So for me, I kept saying, I don't want to connect to my channel. I don't want to talk to God. Like I'm mad at God. I hate God. And in the speech, I started like as I was reflecting, I realized like in those moments, that poem like Footprints in the Sand, like I was being carried by God in those moments, right? And I look at it as like that tired toddler that is like overtired, crying because that was me. I was cranky, I was mean, I was angry, and God just held me in those moments and brought me back to Him. And when I was writing the speech, I went on TikTok to take a break, and a woman comes on, and this is why I say like to just speak the words, right? And she said, I came across a quote that said, "The wound is where the light is." And it
Mm.
hit me so like I stopped and I just sobbed. And I was like, wow, I've been wounded so many times in my 38 years that it's because God loves me that much to pour that light into me. Right. And
Mm.
I sat there and I just thought about that because I'm like, yeah, all those wounds, I was being filled with light, right? You said you have to be cracked open. We do, because the darkness is within us. Spiritual warfare is within our minds. It's what we create, right? We create our own reality. So why not fill it with light? Why not open that wound up more? Allow it to pour out. The darkness to come out for the light to pour in. Because when I started sharing and share, like I consistently, you see, I still write about my miscarriage. I'm doing an interview right now for it in a book. And it hurts to write about it. It hurts to talk about it. But the more that I do it, I know I'm opening up other people's wounds and allowing them to share with me so I can pour light and love into them too. Right? Like that's my mission is to just spread as much light as I can.
Yeah. The wound is where the light is. Wow. That's as soon as you said that, I got chills all the way up and down
Yeah.
because it's so true, right?
Mhm.
When you've been hurt or when you've experienced pain, like miscarriage, like both of us had that terrible experience, right? You want to clam up, you want to shut down, you want to either that or you want to rebel, you want to like you said, like a toddler kick and scream and melt down and just be like, it's not fair.
Yeah.
No, life's not fair. You're right, right? But it's so true that those wounds that are created from those things become the things we share with others as we evolve and then we go into service of, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
because you cannot serve from a place that you haven't experienced. And
Right.
that has been over and over when I run into clients, when I run into people when I speak or that have read my book, and they're like, how do you are you able to resonate with so many people on so many different levels? I'm like, because I got a lot of wounds, y'all. Like,
Yep.
because I've been through a lot of
Yeah.
things, right? And I know now, like looking back over the last 46 years, I'm able to look back and say all of those were not for naught.
Hmm.
I had to go through those things to prepare me for this very moment so
Hmm.
that I can resonate with the person who lost a baby. I
Hmm.
can resonate with the person who's been divorced and been raped and been molested and been starved and been abandoned and been unloved. I can resonate with all of those things because I have those wounds, because
Yeah.
I have done the work to heal those, to allow them to scab over and for allow them to heal and become the scars that cover me, but are also part of why I'm light, why I'm able to share, why I'm able to serve, right?
Hmm.
And so I don't try to hide my scars. I am my scars. I
Yeah.
embrace my scars because those are the things that allow me to serve now.
Yeah, and I mean, like I'm in a season right now, I'm going through a divorce, and between you and a few other friends that have walked the path, like you guys are the only reason that I'm still able to see, the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. And for me, it's like when we go through these things, we can go into that woe is me, like and really sit and sulk. And people are like, how are you moving through this so easily? I'm like, because I have gratitude, because I'm grateful. I'm grateful for everything. I'm still grateful for him, right? And for me, it's like we have two choices. I could sit there and be angry and be mean and be hurtful, or I can be an example for my kids to show them what love and forgiveness looks like. And choosing myself, right? Having self-love and saying, look, at this doesn't align to me, but I'm not going to hate him. He's your father. I'm going to love and respect him still, even through hurts and pains or whatever, because it's who I am at my core. It's my character, right? And I think a lot of people don't realize like the way that they act is their character, and people are watching, and you have people watching you at all times. So it's like, who are you when no one's watching is that big saying. And I try to lead by example at all times. And I am very vulnerable in my sharing, in my social media, like everything, even on here, right? I speak the truth that is like the truth to me from my experience, because my vulnerability is my divinity, right? It allows me to connect to people, like you said. I'm able to, wear that crown and say, hey, look at I've been there. And if I haven't, I will find someone that has been there and can help you and walk you through it.
Right. Again, you said something that I remembered. As soon as you said it, I remembered my grandfather's words. And I didn't get to know my grandfather until I was an adult because of the cult. And I remember talking to him when I was really going through a hard time in my marriage. And he said, Martha, and I was raising two children that weren't mine, but we had raised them both since birth. And I just said, I can't leave the kids. I can't. And
Yeah.
he said, the best thing that you can do for children is give them a mother and father that love each other, at least in front of them, and show each other respect and
Yeah.
show each other affection, right?
Mhm.
Because that will leak into the kids, right? They will feel
Mhm.
loved. They will feel supported. They will feel secured. And so regardless of what me and my ex-husband were going through at the time, we had to put it aside for the kids, and we had to show up for the kids
Right.
because the kids deserved that. And
Yeah.
now I'm divorced and the kids have moved on, and but they remember, they never saw us fight. They
Yeah.
never like they saw love, and it was a little confusing to them. Well, if you love so much, why did you get divorced, right? Like
Yeah.
all those things. And as they get older, they'll better understand that. But I've always remembered that. And so when I am with my nieces and nephews and with my, younger siblings that are just now starting out and having young children, I'm like, the best thing we can give our kids is to show them that mommy and daddy love each other and that they respect
Yeah.
each other and that they
Mhm.
honor each other, right? Like that is the biggest gift we can give our children.
Yeah, and my parents divorced when I was 8. So like I lived the experience that they're going through, but mine was much harder. My parents don't really get along. I mean, they're civil, but it was never the way that we're doing it. So I'm kind of giving to them what I needed at that time.
Mm.
And I'm not shaming my parents or blaming them for anything. They did the best they could with, what they knew.
What they had.
And
Yep.
their situation was different. So for me, I really just, I look at them, I make sure that I communicate to them, I tell them what's going on. Again, we are loving and kind. We're living together. So we have 3 kids, different ages. So it's really hard to just, we just moved to Texas, so I don't want to like upheaval them again and be like, oh, well, now you're in 2 houses and now you're in two. So our family unit has stayed together. It's just our marriage has ended, right? So like our love is still there. We're still their parents. We still love them. They're always our number one priority. And one thing I always tell their father is like, you got to take care of you, right? You got to make sure that you're good because our son is watching, right?
Mm.
Our son, and he's always been, he's super respectful. He's always been an amazing father, and he's always been great to me. So for me, it's like a lot of people are like, well, why are you guys divorcing, right? We have our reasons, but again, like this is civil. We're being civil. We're being loving and kind because I don't hate. Why would I hate him? I spent 21 years with him. That would be really bad if I hated him. So for me, it's just we just matured and we don't align anymore. So for us, it's just, hey, you deserve someone that is in 100% alignment to you, just like I do.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
And our kids get to see that. And for me, both of my parents remarried, so I got extra love. And then my mom had 3 other siblings after me, or 3 kids after me. So I have 3 siblings that I would have never had if they didn't divorce. And I adore them. And now I have a niece and nephew from one of them. So it's like, we just gained more and more and more love. And that's
Right.
what I keep telling them. I'm like, if either one of us decide to marry again or whatever, you're just gonna get loved even more, like spoiled. They're already
Yeah.
spoiled, but a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This conversation is amazing and it goes way too fast. And
Mm.
I mean, I could sit here and talk to you for another 30 hours. I always end every episode with the same question. And that question is, uh, what does it mean to Sierra to let her glory shine?
Um, to let my glory shine would just speak my truth, continue to share the messages that God wants to give me.
I love
Simple.
that.
Simple.
God is our glory. So
Yeah.
being authentic and unapologetically authentic, right? Like that's the
Mhm.
best that we can ask for ourselves. Is there anything that you're super excited about in the last 70 seconds? Go.
Oh, we're working on so many things. We have a program called Social AF where we're bringing community leaders together to spread more impact and more income to people. So that's something I'm building. I do a million things. I don't even know right now. But you can visit me at sierragrana.com and learn all about what I'm doing.
Awesome. I'll make sure I put that in the show notes as well. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join me. I've loved every second of the conversation and look forward to seeing you very soon or talking to you even sooner. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I look forward to seeing you next week. Same place, same station. Until then, let glory shine.
Let glory shine from the ashes I rise. Every scar a story, every tear baptized. This is my freedom, this is my climb. Let glory shine, it's the power inside. This is your prosperity era, where dreams align with grace, abundance flows like rivers. You've stepped into your place. Rise, reign, and remember, you were born to shine. Welcome to your moment, Prospera, it's time.
We hope you enjoyed today's show on Prospera TV Network. Make it a point to visit us on YouTube and catch all your favorite shows anytime you want. Interested in hosting a show of your own? Or advertising your business on our network? Contact Elena Rodriguez.